All right, let's get right into it. What you're looking at on your screen, well, it's not really an ad. It's the blueprint for an ad. We're going to go behind the curtain today and pull apart the hidden formula a brand uses to connect a product to something way, way bigger, tradition itself. And that really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? I mean, it's one thing to sell a product based on its features, what it does. But how do you sell a feeling? How do you actually market something like heritage? Well, this blueprint, it thinks it has the answer. So, here's how we're going to break this all down. We're going to walk through it in 6 parts. First, we'll look at the overall blueprint, the big picture. Then we'll see how it hooks you with culture, how it marries the product to tradition, how it makes that tradition feel real, earns your trust, and then, only then, does it ask for the sale.
Okay, first up, a storyteller's blueprint. And the keyword here, for sure, is formula. What we're about to see, it's not random. It's not just a lucky guess. It is a carefully engineered process, and it's designed to take a viewer on a very, very specific journey. What I find so fascinating is the very first instruction in this whole thing. Look at that. It doesn't say you are a salesperson. It doesn't say you are a marketer. It says you are a storyteller. That one little sentence, it sets the tone for the entire strategy. The goal isn't to push a product on you, it's to pull you into a story.
And here it is. This is the storyteller's map. It's a 6-step structure that moves so smoothly from just getting your attention all the way to closing a sale. You've got the hook, the intro, then explaining the cultural significance, showing you practical uses, giving you buying tips, and finally a summary. This right here, this is the DNA of the whole operation. So let's zoom in on that very first crucial step and see how this thing starts to build. Part 2, the cultural hook. And this is all about leading with emotion, not with a sales pitch. See, the blueprint knows that before you can sell anybody anything, you have to actually make them feel something. And look how specific the instruction is. It doesn't just say start with something interesting. It says to start with a cultural insight. Right from the first second, it frames the whole conversation not as commerce, but as culture, as heritage. It's inviting you to learn something, not to buy something. So why does this work so incredibly well? It's simple, really. It builds an emotional connection before it even thinks about a transactional one. It creates a sense of shared understanding. By the time the actual product shows up, you, the viewer, are already invested in the story around it. It is a textbook case of connection before conversion. Right. So once that emotional groundwork is in place, the blueprint shifts into its next gear. It starts connecting the physical thing, the product, to its deeper meaning. This is the moment where a simple piece of silver starts to become something much, much more. The strategy is all about this idea of cultural significance. It's about taking a product and intentionally linking it to the weight of heritage, to community, to really important traditions like the festival of Akshaya Tritiya. Suddenly, the value isn't just in the metal anymore. The real value is in the meaning. And this just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way of selling, just talking about specs, purity, weight, that kind of stuff. But over on the right, you have cultural selling, and that's all about the things you can't measure, right? Heritage, symbolism, the tradition of giving gifts. This whole blueprint, it bets everything on that column on the right. Okay, so a story about heritage is wonderful, but let's be honest, it can also feel a little abstract, a little distant. So the next part of the formula is designed to fix that exact problem. This is all about taking that big idea of tradition and making it real, making it something you can actually use in your life today. Think of this step like a bridge. It's absolutely crucial. We've just established the why, the deep cultural importance. But now the blueprint has to get to the what. What do you actually do with this thing? How does it fit into your world right now? And it gets very concrete here. The instructions are clear. Show where it's used. Show how it's used. The blueprint even points out, hey, focus on things like religious items, Pooja items, and make sure to highlight gifting. It brings that big, grand cultural story right down to earth, into real, tangible actions that people recognize. Now, around this point in the video, something really clever happens. There's a pivot. The role of the person speaking actually changes. This whole section is about turning that storyteller into a trusted advisor, and it's a move designed to build some serious credibility. It's a simple change, but it's so powerful. For the first half of the script, the brand has been telling you a story. Now, all of a sudden, it starts giving you really useful, practical advice. And that completely changes your relationship with them. You're not just a passive viewer anymore, you're an engaged learner.
So, how do they pull it off? Well, the blueprint spells it out. Provide practical buying tips. Offer advice on how to spot authentic silver. By doing this, the brand stops being just a seller. They become your expert guide, helping you make a smart choice. And that builds a kind of trust that a normal sales pitch just can't touch.
And only now, think about it, only after building an emotional connection, tying the product to tradition, making it practical, and earning your trust, does this blueprint finally get to the sale. This is the payoff. This is the culmination of that entire journey it just took you on.
Just stop and think about the patience that takes. Most ads, they lead with the offer, right? They scream the deal at you in the first 5 seconds. This strategy, it holds that back until the absolute last moment. The sale doesn't feel like an interruption. It feels like the logical next step for someone who's already bought into the whole story.
And the ending isn't just one thing. It's a 1, 2, 3 punch. First, you summarize all the key points, remind them of the value. Then, you announce the specific discount for Akshaya Tritiya in 2026. And finally, you pivot to the bigger picture. Ask for likes, comments, and subscribes to grow the channel. It's a brilliant move that gets the sale today, while also building an audience for tomorrow.
So there you have it, the whole formula, from that first emotional hook all the way to the final sale. It's really a masterclass in cultural marketing. And it leaves me with just one last thought for you. Now that you've seen the blueprint, now that you can see how the whole thing is put together, will you ever look at an ad the same way again?